EA doesn't understand why everyone hates them. Epic does something good. And the most hyped game in 2019 was announced in 2011. My name's Force. Welcome back to the Force feed. New office space, who dis? Sorry if it's a little bit echoey. I got a new setup here. I don't want you guys to see, it's just garbage back there. That's why I got you want? Okay. It's just a bunch of garbage and a wall. I don't have it set up yet, okay? Deal with it. So yes, because the office space is just a complete mess right now, we're doing the green screen. All right, so first up, we're gonna talk about the fact that EA doesn't quite understand why it is that everybody hates them. This is coming from a interview that was done with GameIndustry.biz, in which EA's EVP of Strategic Growth said, 25 years at EA, and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. We love making and playing games. Unfortunately, when we make mistakes on games, the world knows about it because it's of a size and scale. Now, the article then goes on to talk in some detail about the great things that EA is doing with indie developers, specifically their EA Originals program, in which EA will publish and promote new games from indie studios and give every penny of the profit back to the developer, with EA only taking enough money to cover its cost. Fantastic, EA. That's a wonderful initiative. Unfortunately, that has nothing to do with the public perception of the company, because by and large, for the most part, the public doesn't care about how you interact with developers or how you interact with other business partners and interests. Consumers care about how you interact with them, and that's where the issue with EA stems from. EA has quite a negative perception, getting voted multiple times as the worst company in America. So look at the past of EA. What are the things that people aren't too thrilled about? Well, you've got them working their employees to the bone with the whole EA spouse debacle, massive layoffs from EA, them closing studios and killing franchises, pushing out unfinished games, and of course everyone's favorite, the loot boxes. Excuse me, surprise mechanics. So yeah, there's like a list of reasons why people don't love EA, and they're fair grievances. But I think the other side of this, maybe we're misreading what this person is saying. When they say, I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys, I don't even really think it's necessarily that he struggles to understand the reasons, because you'd have to just be, well, not that smart. It could actually, and most likely means that he struggles like it's difficult. As someone who works for EA, he wants to feel like the company he works for does a lot of good, and that's why a majority, like the entire article actually, is focusing on their interaction with indie developers between the EA Originals program and helping them with like the potential future of video game streaming. Like, yeah, it's great that you guys do some good stuff, but the good stuff that you do doesn't negate the bad stuff that you do, especially if the good stuff that you do, it doesn't pertain to us, the video game players and the consumers. It pertains to how you're interacting with other business people. Like, let's be honest here, that's what it is. There's two sides to this. Like, yes, EA, they've done a lot of like anti-consumer things, or things that just video game players haven't been too thrilled or happy with. They do some good stuff too, so that's great. Kudos to you. Just people are tired of your surprise mechanics and killing off franchises and closing studios. And moving on to the next story, let's talk about Epic Games, the Epic Games Store. General negative consensus around the store and them buying off exclusives and all this stuff. Well, they're doing something good. We got a new headline coming out talking about the fact that Epic will be funding the cost of all Kickstarter refunds for Shenmue 3. So if you didn't pay attention to this, basically a bunch of backers of Shenmue 3 got mad at the fact that it was becoming an Epic Games exclusive. They backed it on Kickstarter. Really, they're a large part of the reason why it even exists for Epic Games to purchase as an exclusive in the first place, and people don't like the Epic Games Store. There's a huge list of reasons. We've talked about it a billion times. People hate the fact that Epic Games are just buying off these titles and making them exclusive to their store, and so as a result, a portion of the people who kickstarted and paid towards Shenmue 3 are requesting a refund. Well, Epic has stepped in and said that anyone who requests a refund, they will actually be reimbursing the developer of Shenmue 3 so that they don't lose funding for the development of the game. It actually is such a funny situation because it directly relates to the last story that we talked about. Epic Games doing a good thing for the developer of this game, Shenmue 3, while completely ignoring the concerns of the consumers. I guess people have a right, if they backed this game with the notion that it would be available everywhere or not exclusive to a single store or whatever, they have the right to be upset. I suppose they have the right to request a refund refund. That's a bit of a stretch for me. If I back a game, it's because I'm interested in playing the game, regardless of where the game launches. But again, I understand that there's a lot of hate for the Epic Games Store, so I'm not surprised that this is happening. Even though Epic is doing something good by the developers, it's kind of ignoring the consumer concerns with the exclusivity in the first place. What the consumers and the people asking for those Kickstarter refunds really want is Shenmue 3 not to be exclusive to the Epic Games Store. That is what they really want. And Epic is just saying, all right, whatever, do your refunds. We'll just, whatever money you refund, we're just gonna pay right back to the developer. So it's kind of a slap in the face to the people who backed the game. Again, we could argue that a large part of the reason, if not the only reason, that Shenmue 3 started developing and getting to the point that it did where Epic was interested in purchasing it for exclusivity is because of those backers. So to just say, we don't care, we have enough money to replace anything that you refund, yeah, God, that kind of stings. Yeah, it's a tad shitty. It's a tad shitty for those people who kind of made that the dream of the development of this game a reality. And speaking of game development, I'm going to talk about what might be actually one of the most anticipated games of mine for 2019, and that's Cube World, a game that got announced back in like 2010 and has had quite an interesting development cycle. So if you're not up on this game, Cube World, announced a long time ago, saw a lot of hype. It was this really exciting, this like open world, procedurally generated Minecraft, World of Warcraft, RPG inspired game that was actually really interesting and had a lot of cool mechanics and ideas. Even if you don't love like this blocky art style, the gameplay and the world and the systems, it was a really cool game. Like, I was obsessed with this thing. I played it nonstop for like a month or something. Like, it was a really, really cool game. It had a lot of promise. But then, due to the pressure of people being really excited about this game and demanding answers and updates and wondering when it was going to officially launch, he like canceled the game. The developer stopped development, stopped all sales of the game, took it off the website. It's kind of an interesting story, and then went dark for several years with nobody hearing from him or about the game or anything. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, he started tweeting again about the game, putting out screenshots. And now just earlier today, there was a bunch of new screenshots from his Twitter account detailing some of the things that they're working on. So it is just a weird freaking story. Like, the whole saga of Cube World it's just baffling. And it's, you know, I think what's most interesting to me though is even after all this time and kind of all this disappointment, people are still hyped. Like, look at the tweets that he sent out just a few hours ago. They're already like thousands of likes and retweets. Like, it's actually crazy that people are still this excited for this game. And I guess that just shows you how great of a premise that it was. It was a really interesting, unique combination of things with the procedural world and these deep RPG elements and mechanics. It's a really good freaking game, and I really hope that he actually keeps going and continues development with it. Yeah, I still think it could be something special, even though it's taken like 7+ years to come out, and we don't even know. This thing might still not even launch till like 2022 for all I know, but I guess I'm happy to hear that they're still working on it. I just want them to wrap it up and push it out. You know what fucking whatever. I mean, who am I to say? Like, they're just taking their time with it because they want to make it right. I guess that's really, you can't blame, that's not like a bad thing. It's like, oh, shame on you guys for taking your time to do something well. I want to see this thing continue to develop, and I wish it well. Like, I hope it goes well, despite all of the crap that's happened so far. Lastly, Joe, I want to let you guys know about a couple of things. First off, we've got the free July games for the Xbox Game Pass. It is Middle-earth: Shadow of War, My Time at Portia, Undertale, Blazing Chrome, Dead Rising 4, Lego City Undercover, Time Spinner, and Unavowed. And then in an interesting turn of events, the PS Plus July store saw a swap in their games. People weren't happy with Pro Evolution Soccer. I guess just no one gives a crap. So they decided to replace that, and instead Detroit Become Human is going to be one of the other PS Plus July games. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this happen. They're like, you guys don't like the free game we're giving you? Fine. We'll go ahead and give you something else. It's a weird story. So here we go, guys. New office, a new setting. I took a few days off because frankly, moving frickin' sucks. Like, I spent literally 4 days moving my stuff, but I got a new setup. I think it's probably still a little echoey in here. Hello? Hello? Yeah, it's probably a little echoey. I'm putting up sound panels and getting everything situated. And we should be back churning out them videos starting right now with this video. Oh, and that I know the hat, I keep getting a lot of comments on the hat. It's gonna stay until I get a haircut. I've just been too busy, okay? You deal with the hat so you don't have to deal with emo force. Okay? I just had enough of that when I was 16. Crawling in my skin. Because the office space is just a complete mess right now, we're doing the green screen. I got my second green screen set from Elgato. They also sent me this little stream deck thing. I could push these buttons and something happens. And, wait, best of all, this amazing lighting that you see is courteous of the Elgato key lights. Check this out. I can like turn it up really, really bright. Look good. And I could change the colors. It's like cool tone blues, or we could go to the yellow tones, eh? This isn't a sponsored video, I swear, but they just sent me this stuff, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna show you guys. Surprise mechanics.